If you want to become wealthy, you must have either your own lucrative business or a well-paying job. Right. These techniques actually allow you to generate a lot of money. Unfortunately, a lot of people who make a lot of money nonetheless live in poverty because they don't understand the fundamentals of personal finance. Fortunately, boss, I'll show you the 3 money laws that only the wealthy are aware of in this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel right away because what you'll find there might just transform your life. The first is the expectation principle. Anyone can become wealthy, it only takes a little bit of time. But the majority of individuals don't believe they will ever be wealthy. They may have grown up in poverty and never learned how to take control of their own financial position. Although it's the first step toward achieving financial freedom, the majority of people don't realize that their attitude is one of the major factors in their financial success. Don't invest any effort in creating or maintaining a bright financial outlook as a result. Unfortunately, a lack of confidence brought on by this dismal financial picture might prevent people from taking even the most fundamental steps to better their financial circumstances. They either never attempt to bargain a price because they've never learned how, or they never ask for a raise at work because they're too afraid to. To avoid accepting accountability for their pooled cash, they might even come up with justifications about how terrible they are at math. The reality is that although one person may be suffering from bad money management and finding it difficult to get by paycheck to paycheck, their neighbor may be prospering financially. Their similar IQs might be the only significant difference between them. They might have seen similar academic success and have completed comparable levels of education. They both came from similar backgrounds and even work at the same location. Yet one expects financial hardship while the other expects financial prosperity. If you're the kind of person who views money negatively or who thinks they'll never be wealthy, you're undoubtedly wondering if there's a way to change the way you think right now. Unfortunately, not all negative things in life can be avoided. We can always adjust our viewpoint after careful consideration. Since attitudes are essentially thinking patterns, they can be changed by substituting the old reality with the new one and constantly practicing the new fact. Try repeating the following line to yourself every day if you find yourself thinking adversely about money for some reason. You can gradually change into someone who is truly good with money by consistently repeating affirmations like, "I am becoming more successful with my money." The first requirement of this law is that you must believe that you will succeed financially. But without preparedness, anticipating is pointless. This seems sense to assume to be the case. You will start preparing for an action as soon as you decide to take it, such as booking a trip. If you don't make any preparations for something, it's obvious that you aren't serious about it. Acting on the expectation you have established is the only thing left to do. According to the second law, most people think they have little control over their financial situation. They can't increase their income because their boss wouldn't think of giving them a raise. And they can't reduce their spending because they've never learned how to negotiate. Their financial status remains unchanged year after year because of this. But everyone is capable of handling their own finances. And those who do so frequently end themselves in wealthy positions. Instead of taking a passive approach to their finances like the other 99% of people on the planet, the wealthy adopt 3 tried and true methods of money management and build on these ideas to become active money managers. The first of these 3 tactics is awareness of one's financial status. Being financially knowledgeable requires being aware of the advantages and disadvantages of every decision. "I don't want to have to think about cost every time I make a decision," you could be saying. However, such a perspective reveals a lack of conceptual understanding and a pessimistic attitude toward money in general. Your quality of life can be enhanced by practicing frugal living by allocating resources to more worthwhile projects. For instance, buying a $5 latte every day is probably not something you intentionally plan for. However, if you're frugal, you might re-examine his spending patterns and come to the conclusion, "That's the same amount of money I spend in a year. I had enough money for a 2-week vacation." The end goal of self-awareness is to have freedom and agency. The second method is to keep your expenditures inside a certain range of your income. This may seem simple, but many people are in debt because not everything that is obvious is clear. As of the beginning of 2019, 78% of Americans reported living paycheck to paycheck as a result of ongoing expenditures. The next payment will be necessary for them to continue. Even though it's natural to presume that those with low incomes are the only ones who fit this description. Anyone who lives over their means is susceptible to the results. A recent survey indicated that 23% of American respondents with salaries of at least $150,000 had less than $1,000 set aside for emergencies, and that 1 in 3 had no retirement savings. Which is another sign of people's propensity to spend. Then how about a simple response? You must become used to making do with less money. The first step in cutting back on your spending is to make the decision to do so. Being wealthy doesn't just happen, so if you're not seeing the financial progress you want, it's probably because you haven't made the decision to do so. You must therefore master the foundations of personal finance. The ability to manage one's finances well is a crucial life skill. Maybe you should only take out so much money from your bank account at the beginning of each month. Or maybe maintaining a daily record of your expenses will make it easier for you to see where your money is going and help you make better financial decisions. Regardless, you can only expect your money to grow if you master the fundamentals of personal finance. Third, the law of production is one of the most ignored monetary principles. The source of all riches, however, is production, which is a fundamental fact. They don't know why they never get a raise or why their pay stays the same. Rarely do people pause to contemplate how they might demonstrate that they are more productive. Many employees think that their pay should increase when they spend more time at their desks. However, in the business world, productivity is most important. You now see that output, on the other hand, such as sales data or tangible things, is what it means to be productive. Additionally, you'll earn more money the more you can improve. I constantly hear it from business owners, and it's a familiar refrain. They emphasize their desire for everyone to work for themselves, even for a short time. This is frequently stated because the speaker wants the listeners to understand how directly employee productivity affects an employer's ability to pay them. The fact is that if an employee isn't making a financial contribution to the company, the employer simply cannot afford to pay their salary. Workers sometimes give their own time an excessively high value when, in truth, only the things we do with that time matter. So what's the point of going on? Maybe all you're considering is that the greatest approach to increase your income is to be more productive. There are many ways to increase your own productivity. Which is why tech behemoths like Apple and Microsoft employ tens of thousands of people. The more items they can produce, whether they laptops, tablets, or smartphones, the more money they can make. Despite the fact that not everyone will be actively involved in every area of life at all times, I think your productivity as a worker, a businessperson, and an investor is quite important. However, a sizable portion of people engage in all three activities during the course of their lifetimes. Let's go over each of the three once more. How to increase productivity at work is number 1. This is true for any sector or profession. You should first think about what new skills you could learn to make yourself more valuable to your existing firm before answering the question, what can I do to increase my income if I want to keep my current job? Take into account the factors that led others who earn more than you to success. Can you attain the same degree of education that they have? Ask your higher-paid employees about the 10 evening classes they took to get where they are if you want to know how they got there. Make yourself indispensable and master these skills even if you can't perform them, and get compensated for them where you are. Then, look for a job that will compensate you for your new abilities. Don't merely accept a steady increase in your pay. The fact is, I've come to realize that there are instances in which your company will intentionally want to raise your pay. You're all set. Your boss will be open to raising your pay if you can assist the business generate more revenue. What if you asked your manager, what can I do to earn a higher wage? And got nothing but silence in response. I'm keen to develop my skills and follow your advice in order to have a greater impact on the company's success. I'm going to make the required sacrifices to make the most of any pay increase I receive. When your manager finally relents, it's time to keep your word and spend money on the education and training that will improve your skills and output. Second, look for strategies to increase business output. For people who are eager to work hard and are interested in boosting their income, starting a business is another possibility. The belief that this could only be done by engaging in significant financial gamble or obtaining speculative loans was widespread. At this point, that theory is no longer valid. With the growth of the internet, new businesses like blogs, YouTube channels, and online shops may be started with only a small initial expenditure. In fact, many business experts will tell you that starting your own company today has several benefits beyond the low entrance barrier. The main contention of Rich Dad, Poor Dad by author Robert Kiyosaki is that our economic and legal structures support entrepreneurs by giving them benefits like lower tax rates and greater possibilities. The best way to become wealthy is to manage a prosperous business. You get to keep more of your earnings when you invest instead of working for someone else. Every cash earned belongs to you as a solo proprietor. Increase investment productivity. Third, many times, the advantages of being a business owner over an employee go unappreciated. However, compared to other sources of income, investments have the biggest potential for profit. Unfortunately, a lot of prosperous business people pass up the countless investment chances that pop up every day. Investment income has incredible potential even at average rates of growth. But many individuals are turned off by the reality that the majority of outstanding investments demand significant amounts of patience and self-control. You can accumulate $1 million in your account in much less than 40 years if you put $200 into a Roth IRA each month and invest it in an index fund that follows the stock market. With this impressive investment strategy, almost anyone may be successful. However, keep in mind that the market's growth rate at the time was typically around 11%. According to the well-known rule of 72, the initial $1 million would double to $2 million in just over 6.5 years without any more investments. There is no other way that I can think of to make $1 million with as little effort. Again, investing takes time, but it can ultimately result in more money than any other single activity.